corner here with Athena. This Koko finds it with a crossbody. Oh, wait a minute! Oh! Did you see that? Out of nowhere, that cliffhanger DT, that spike DDT. This has got to be it. And there it is. Koko able to squeak out a win out of nowhere. That cliffhanger DDT and moves on to the semifinals.
Here's your winner, Koko.
This thing how huge of a clash is going to be when Koko meets Mona Loca next month. But still, I mean, it was a valiant effort from Athena. In my opinion, that this match could win either way. And I think in the end, even though Athena deserved to win tonight, it doesn't matter because Koko turned out to be the better double X here tonight. That huge win, that cliffhanger DT out of nowhere. I think I should have a replay about this match.
This match was just nothing but brutal and violent, and nothing what you come to everything we come to expect and love from Bloodshed. Let's take another look at this. Oh, that Athena slammed to our announce table. That guy almost shattered Koko's spine right there, but it was just not enough as too much time passed as Koko was able to get a show up at the very last second. It was 2 and 3/4, folks. Koko was absolutely living. This is the closing moments of the matches. Koko going for this very nicely. Springboard. Oh my god, just spiked her like a fence post. And that's all she wrote there. Cliffhanger DDT is too much for Athena.
Especially two of them is definitely too much for one person. Especially when you've already lost so many pints of blood so far. And both of these women need to see a trainer as soon as possible. I mean, two women lost so much blood here tonight. It's a miracle that even one woman is even standing up here tonight. As Koko is one step closer, that much closer to be competing for this championship. And it's like Athena will start back at square one. Let's go back to Crimshana Blade preparing for a main event match. Two old friends catching up with old times. I guess Crimshana Blade's going to be more focused on her match with Ursula Areano tonight. And do I approve of her new wrestling attire, by the way. Coming up, folks, it's a steel cage match between Rampage. These challenges Big Vicious of the Nation of Violence for the coveted No Limits Championship. And that very satanic structure, the steel cage. And of course, this match tonight is going to be a first-round tournament match where the winner of this match will move on to the second round to face the winner of Steve Hebert and the Taxman later on tonight. Of course, these two have been vicious and Rampage have been fighting for quite some time. I mean, these two have fought each other on Assault, on episode 28 of Assault after Pandemonium. Of course, that match was thrown out built into the Nation of Violence's interference, and that's what will spark the war between these two individuals.
The following contest is a steel cage match, and it's for the No Limits Championship. On his way to the ring, he's the challenger, from Irvine, California, he is the UWA's next big thing, Quentin Rampage Jackson.
It seems these days that steel cage matches are a rarity. I mean, the last time we've seen a steel cage match in UWA was at last year's Do or Die, the Fatal 4 match for the West Coast Championship between Mac the Boss, Luke Fowler, Planet, and Gunter Wolf. But now it looks like Rampage and Vicious will be caught between the steel here tonight.
You're trembling.
Who are you? Tell me.
Vicious.
That's right. This man right here is the only No Limits champion, the first No Limits champion in the UWA.
Now introducing his opponent. He is the current No Limits champion, representing the Nation of Violence. He hails from Transylvania. He is the Enigma, Big Vicious.
Of course, after Vicious won the No Limits Championship by defeating Spike to unify the Underground Championship and the West Coast Championship at Pandemonium, Vicious promised that his title reign would last for quite some time, and so far he's been able to hold up to that bragging right. But you know, I mean, Vicious, these two, Vicious and Rampage, they fought, you know, at Beach Party Slim. It looked like Rampage was going to win it, but no thanks to Von Creed, was able to neutralize the enforcer at the time, Guy Fieri. Even though Rampage won by disqualification, Vicious was able to walk out of Beach Party Slam, well, to walk out of Rio de Janeiro as still the No Limits champion.
There it is, folks, for the No Limits title. But speaking of the Nation of Violence members, we all know that this match, that Nation of Violence ban does not exist. Do you think the steel cage can possibly prevent the Nation of Violence members from competing in this match here or getting involved at least?
We've seen in the past what limitations of cage matches. It doesn't take much for a man to scale that 15-foot high structure and get involved. But however, the way I look at it, it's not just to keep people out, it's to keep these two men in. So that way there's nowhere for these men to go, nowhere for them to hide. These men are going to get down here and dirty here tonight to end this rivalry once and for all, I hope. Remember, folks, after Rampage lost the UWA Championship back at Love at First Fight, Rampage vowed he's on a mission. He's going to take out every single Nation of Violence member one by one. Every single member that screwed him out of the UWA Championship, one by one. So far, he's taken out Von Creed. He did that Do or Die. He had numerous attempts against Vicious, but so far he's been unsuccessful. He's going to plans on working his way up until he gets to Lord Magma. Not only does he want to get his hands on Lord Magma, but he wants to win back the UWA Championship as well. Let's wait to see what happens. I mean, if Vicious plans on destroying Rampage here tonight, his mission could be failure after the end of this one. Vicious is victorious.
The last thing we want to see is the Nation of Violence members get involved in this matchup somehow, ruining this great and epic contest. But look at this Quentin Rampage Jackson keeping Vicious at bay there, keeping him that grounded, like, bear lock, or whatever you want to call it, is rolling Vicious over, taking Vicious' own body weight and turning it against him. Rampage is such the MMA specialist here. I mean, he can make you tap out in over 85 different ways. And I didn't say 85 for no particular reason, by the way, I just said it. And look at this, Rampage. Oh, Rampage is stretching the neck and spine. Very nonchalant move, but it does the job. Now look at Rampage stalking Vicious here.
I gotta point out here, folks, I mean, this is the first time we've seen Rampage in a steel cage since he's been here in UWA. I mean, Rampage is totally in his element here, and absolutely no surprise why, of all matches, Rampage would suggest to face Vicious in a steel cage match. I mean, they're kind of allowed in Rampage's in his MMA career, he's always fought in the octagon, surrounded by a cage where men cannot escape. And this is exactly the same situation that he is with Vicious.
Not much difference between the octagon and the steel cage match that surrounds this ring right here. And if there's ever been any typical material that's been synonymous with busting someone open, it's been steel on flesh. And look at this. Before Rampage is about to escape the cage. Rampage pulled him back. I really don't know how that door popped open, but either way it's closed now and padlocked shut until need be to be opened once again. I guess Robert Sweeney must be on the outside or something. Look at this. Vicious coming back that clothesline. You said it, Rockjaw. Rampage Jackson completely in his element here, being surrounded by Cage. Oh, it's not working too well for him right now. I don't think he's ever been in such a predicament where he's, oh my, using the cage as an own weapon. And that's wrestling for you, folks.
It's the big difference between MMA and UWA. And look at this. Vicious with ground punches. And oh! A little shots busted Rampage wide open, and there it is. The blood flowing from Rampage. Just like the last two matches, blood was inevitable. In this match, just like the last two, just like all the other matches here tonight. Rampage, he's trying to climb out and escape, and oh!
Do you think we'll see one match tonight, Roncock, that will go without blood?
No, not really. I would not bet against any match that would go unbloody here tonight. Oh, yeah, back on a statement I was about to say moments ago, before I got cut off by this tremendous action here tonight, is that the difference between MMA and wrestling is that whenever you are in a cage in wrestling, usually the men in the wrestling ring in a cage match either use the steel cage to their advantage to inflict even more punishment and torment to their opponent, where usually a cage in an MMA fight is just to confine the two men into a small area.
So it's one of those predicaments where you would think that this would be in favor of Rampage because he's been surrounded by cages all of his life. But then again, he's not been in one single UWA cage match before, so he's not been exposed to this kind of action. So before we say he might be in his element, it might be turn out he might be completely out of it. Vicious, we all know he can get down and dirty, and we've already seen him use his steel cage to his advantage. We haven't really seen Rampage do the same. I don't know if he wants to win cleanly or what, but in this kind of predicament, you have to pull out all the stops. And look at that, Vicious pulling all the stops to the exposed turnbuckle. Hammer throw on the turnbuckle, not enough.
Not enough, but somehow Rampage able to battle back. Oh, look at this, he drags Vicious in the corner, that same exposed turnbuckle. And why do you always see, whenever someone tries to expose a turnbuckle, they always find their head meeting that steel turnbuckle corner. People were smart, they would have stopped doing that. And now Rampage, using the cage to his advantage. And Rampage got a European uppercut. Now look at this. Rampage begins to come up the cage, and all of that corkscrew. And remember, folks, in this match, this is not win by escape. This is win by pinfall or submission. See, just like that, could win for a pinfall, but only getting a 2 count that time. So Rampage and Vicious didn't come to the cage for their heart's content, but it's not going to win them the match here tonight. Once again, it was all part of Rampage's idea. In MMA, if you get out of the cage, you don't automatically win. You have to defeat your opponent in the middle of the ring in that cage. That's exactly the stipulation that Rampage was all in favor of. And look at this, this full Nelson applied on the Vicious.
Modified master lock, but Rampage unwisely lets him go. Let's see if that really affects him later on, but right now it seems like it's not affecting him whatsoever. He takes him to that T-bone suplex. Oh, Rampage catches the leg. Maybe Vicious might have been going for that Vicious footprint. Who knows? But once again, coming back here, that atomic drop. And the pace is definitely slowed here, folks. It's just the war wounds. Oh! Getting so more violent and exposed here. Vicious once again trying to climb up the cage. The door's right there. Vicious, come on. Just walk out the door. But Rampage once again getting back up, knocking Vicious down.